The Indiana Pacers definitively win Game 4 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. They were up 80-39 at halftime. So, what better time to do a game recap than midway through the third quarter?
Yeah.
Andrew, what is going on to the Cavs right now?
Man, everything just went wrong. It was a perfect storm, especially towards the end of that second half. I think the Pacers ended on a 19-2 run. There's not all that much you can say. The Pacers just came out and played just much better basketball. The one thing that I actually took away from this game is that full court press truly does bother the Cavs. I feel like their offense just never really got set from the jump, and then they were forcing up shots that they just didn't need to. Their half court offense was super sloppy today. Just everything went wrong for the Cavs, and everything went right for the Pacers.
Yeah, the Cavs didn't play well at all today. I mean, the Pacers, they came out with a ton of energy that you think that the Cavs would have came out with, and they did kind of come out with that type of energy in Game 3, but they just couldn't keep up. I wanted to ask you about the Benedict Mathurin stuff. Did you have any sort of opinion specifically on that?
Yeah, I
You got
mean,
a
just a
stronger opinion on this game than I do. I want to go on the look ahead. This will be the last one until we look at what the Pacers could potentially do. But
Yeah, I
say your
don't
piece.
have all that much here either. I just thought it was a dirty play. Extending your arm like that, especially in the fist motion, just overall, you can kind of see it boiling over between the interactions that him and DeAndre Hunter were having beforehand. And I thought, I think Chuck probably described it pretty well in the halftime show that they did, where he said that if it did end up being a momentum shifter, it would have been really bad. It would have been a really bad look for Benedict Mathurin because there was just no need for it. The Pacers were already not in firm control of that game, but they were leading into taking control of that game, and it could have just been a momentum swing for no reason. 2 free throws and the ball back. So just a dirty overall play, and just something that you don't really want to see. You like playoff basketball, you like the intensity, but just super unnecessary, and especially in the scenario.
All right. Well, I think it's time to start having some uncomfortable conversations. Let's start with this question. I personally think this series is over now. I don't see the Cleveland Cavaliers winning 3 straight games on this Pacers team. Oh my gosh. No
Yeah,
way.
right.
Are you in agreement there?
Yeah. I think that the Pacers are going on to their second straight Eastern Conference Finals.
We'll end this with looking back on this Cavs season and just what exactly was this team? Was it a regular season team? Was it a team defined by injuries? But I wanted to first start with the Pacers. Okay. Serious championship contender? Or you need to see
Uh,
more from them?
Yeah, I mean, when you're one of probably the last 4 teams remaining at this point, it's hard to say that you aren't, but the Pacers just it feels like they're, a superstar away, which is crazy because they're on a conference finals for the 2nd straight year, but it just doesn't feel like Tyrese Halliburton can be the best player on a championship team, and maybe he can. They have so many guys around him at this point. Pascal Siakam had his best game of the series, at least over the last couple of games. He hasn't been playing very well. Aaron Nesmith has been good. Miles Turner is one of the better shooting big men that I've seen. Nemard is good. They just have a bunch of really solid guys. But for me, you need an X factor guy, and I don't know that Tyrese Halliburton is that guy. I think that a lot of his peers think that too, based off the overrated things. I think that might be a little bit harsh, but if you told me relative to the other guys like Jason Tatum on the Celtics, I know he hasn't had a very good Eastern Conference Finals, but Tatum on the Celtics, I'd probably rather him over Tyrese Halliburton. I don't think that's crazy to say. SGA on the Thunder, the Jokic on the Nuggets, even Anthony Edwards on the Timberwolves. I feel like all of those teams have an X factor. Curry on the Warriors, all of those teams have an X factor guy that you can look to. And when you put those guys against Tyrese Halliburton, I think that is where the Pacers lack a little bit. But in terms of overall depth and just overall really good players, the Pacers have a ton of them.
Yeah, I guess this would be the one matchup, this Cavs Pacers series, where it didn't feel like you had an X factor going in, like a guy who could be a number one on a championship team. I think when we look around for the rest of them, maybe Jalen Brunson isn't that guy, but you feel like he's a playoff riser, and so he's going to end up dragging the team maybe beyond what they're actually capable of. But this could have been the only series where it was like that. But the reason I want to push back a little bit on it is that I've always thought that the Eastern Conference you can get to the Eastern Conference Finals, but not be an actual championship contender. And I've thought that because the Cavs were at the height of their power, and you're running into LeBron James, and Those Raptors teams, I didn't know how real they were. The Hawks team that won 60 games, I didn't really know how real they were. And then the Warriors on the other side of it were just a juggernaut, as well as the Houston Rockets team. But I feel like that level of basketball team is not here right now, obviously. So the championship bar is slightly lower than maybe some people are used to. So when we assess some of these teams and whether or not if they can potentially reach that championship caliber level, I think we maybe grade them a little bit too hard. I think it's a little bit lower than it is. I think this Pacers team could beat the Knicks like easily. That was a great series last year. So what? You don't think so?
Easily is definitely a stretch.
No, no, no,
Given
no, no. I don't mean like they'll beat them in 5. I'm talking
uh,
about I can envision them beating the Knicks.
I just want to clarify for your own
Yeah.
sake.
Well, I appreciate the clarification, but I'm gonna say like with the way that the Celtics are playing right now, they were up 20 in all of the games. So I want to slow down a little bit because they are the defending champs. But so much respect to them. But I feel like the Pacers could give them a way more competitive series than they did last year with the way that they're looking now. I
Yeah,
think
no,
they
I
would beat the
mean,
Warriors.
go.
I'm just gonna say I think they could beat the Warriors, and then I think these other teams have some flaws with them. Like the Nuggets aren't as deep. The Thunder are really good, but Shea's not at the top level. And then at the same time, the Minnesota Timberwolves, I'm waiting for one part of that team to mess up, whether it's Rudy Gobert or Julius Randle. I don't know who, but I'm just making a case.
Yeah, just defending my point a little bit here too. Like if you just
Gotcha.
look at the list of NBA champions over since like the modern era, let's start from like when Golden State first won their championship with Steph Curry and that whole team, right? Last year, Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum, like better than Tyrese Halliburton, right? Denver Nuggets, Jokic, best player on that team, better than Tyrese Halliburton. I'm not going to keep on saying better than Tyrese Halliburton and all these, but Golden State Warriors, Curry, Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis, Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron, Toronto Raptors, Kawhi, Golden State Warriors again, KD at that time, but also they had Steph in that team. Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron. Like when you look at the list of NBA champions, like the best player on those teams are significantly better, or at least marginally better than Tyrese Halliburton, which is why I personally don't think this Pacers team is like a true championship contender. And I think you made a really good point where making it to the conference finals doesn't always mean you're a championship contender. And I don't think that the Pacers were championship contender last year and they made it to the conference finals.
Well, I think when I look at the conference finals thing, I think there's at least a similarity with a few of them, and that is that like that I can draw to actually kind of make my point, and that is that they usually don't make it the next year if they're very fraudulent. Like the Hawks didn't make it the following season. And then I believe trying to think of how many times the Raptors actually ended up making it to the conference finals. I think they made it in 2016. I don't remember if they made it again when they ran into LeBron, but if they did, it was back-to-back years. But like usually those teams don't make it back if it's like in this, and so for them to make it back to back, I am impressed. I think that there could be a ceiling there that's untapped. Maybe we're just underrating Tyrese Halliburton though. You got to admit, like there's a certain level of respect that he has certainly earned through another playoff run. Because I think the Cavs were like spitting images of like the Indiana Pacers, where it feels like, okay, is Donovan Mitchell that number one? We don't know. Oh, okay, they're deep. They're a deep team. They got plenty of role players, plenty of really good players on this team. And then the Pacers, you look at them and the same type of situation. Both teams with playoff experience as well. I felt I don't know. I just felt like they were a lot similar in that scenario.
Yeah, and I also think that like his playoff performances haven't been all that recently. I understand that he's not the greatest scorer in general. He only averages 18 points in the regular season, but he dropped 4 points last game in a game that would have been crucial if they wouldn't have destroyed them the way they did in this game. In the game before, he had the clutch shot, but he only dropped 19 in that game, 22 in the game before that. Like he isn't like the X factor guy. Like when I need someone to make like to just go down and dominate at the end of a stretch of a game, like I probably don't want that guy averaging 18 points like during the regular season. Like I just think that there is a ceiling there with Tyrese Halliburton, at least scoring wise. He's really good, like in his general offensive game. The fact that he averages so many assists a game, that is kind of like his whole like shtick is being a facilitator. But I don't know that like essentially like I just can't see that winning you a championship, and that's why I'm a little bit lower on the Pacers. But in general, the Pacers are a really really good team. They have a lot of good pieces.
For the rest of the team to be able to pick up the slack, that certainly shows something. Okay, let's take a look at the Cavs season right now. Is this defined by those injuries? And And early on in this series, or is there something more to this team just being a regular season team? Both.
Yeah, I think it could be a little. I think it's less of the regular season team. I think that game two loss really hurt them because if this thing is 2-2 going back to Cleveland, I think that they have a legitimate shot at winning the series. But man, like being like selling that last game, I genuinely think that this series is probably defined by that game two loss.
I don't know how they can fix what just happened. I think this is one of those gut punches that could potentially change maybe a direction. They were my most confident team down 2-1. We just talked about this last night. I've completely flipped. Like that was a massacre. 80-39 in the first half. It's over for the Cavs. They're gonna have to fix it.